Welcome back, house guests. This is House of Chatter, and today we are talking Blake Lively and her potential damages argument. So, again, we are going to reference the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial in this case. There were expert witnesses on damages, both on Amber's side and on Johnny's side. And we're going to take a look primarily about Amber's argument and Amber's experience in comparison with what Blake Lively is experiencing, along with what they would consider as factors for damages and arguments against that. Maybe on Wayfair's side might bring something up that says, hey, this is actually affecting your sales and not us. So with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, we're going to reference the expert witnesses that they had on the stand for Amber Heard. The expert witness talked about how she used a criterion to assess for potential damages. She said that she looked at fellow actors that may be in her same space, same genre, same acting range, same trajectory, to better analyze where these damages might occur for Amber. So the expert stated that they looked at a 5-year period. They looked at 2 years before, the current year, and 2 years in the future. So at this point, Amber Heard is a pretty established actress. I do not know her personally, but my son does, so she must be pretty famous or in an X-Men movie or Marvel or something. So Amber Heard already had established movie roles that they could reference in different campaigns and partnerships that Amber Heard was doing to reference 2 years before. As far as acting, Blake Lively didn't have anything come out in 2023, 2022, 2021, but she did have something come out in 2020, which I hear was just horrid, and it was a bomb, and that was called The Rhythm Section. And rumor has it that maybe she had a hand in that too, but maybe that's par for the course with her. If you get Blake Lively, she's going to want some authorship in something. So what do we look at for this year, 2024 to 2025? For Blake Lively, she had a movie called If. It's an animation. She did a voiceover. So I'm not sure how much she received, but I can't imagine it was millions and millions of dollars if she didn't have anything before this as far as acting, big, giant acting roles and popularity. Another movie she had was Another Simple Favor, which is a sequel to A Simple Favor that came out in 2018, where Blake Lively's career was a little bit hotter right before it hit 2020, and it kind of just seemed like it died down. So Another Simple Favor was a sequel. And we have an example of sequels with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial. So how it was explained and how they estimated, and I call it guesstimated, these numbers on how much compensation you would receive on one contract, and then a sequel, and then a trilogy, and then it goes on forever, right? So they were explaining that typically an actor and actress will get paid, a certain amount. As far as A Simple Favor, Blake Lively, I believe, got paid $800,000 according to online chatter. Okay. So the expert witness for Amber Heard in the sequel said, if you do a sequel, it's normally double what you received prior. So in this case, let's just say Blake Lively received $1.5 million for Another Simple Favor. Let's call it closer to $2 million, because I'm sure she's throwing a hard bargain and everybody seemed copacetic in that setting. So that is For that movie, she got $2 million for this year. So we're still in 2024 to 2025. And then she did It Ends With Us and got $3 million. She got a executive producer role, which turned into a producing role. Now, according to Amber Heard's expert witness, the expectation is if you were to do a sequel in this event, that you would get double the money. So she would probably get paid $6 million. Okay. And if there was another Simple Favor 3, I guess, then in that case, she might have something between $3 and $4 million. So we can kind of guesstimate that maybe her losses in films can be estimated or guesstimated to be between, I'm going to say, $6 and $10 million. And that's a range. And I am not an expert. This is just a guesstimate, my own uneducated opinion. Key sentence, uneducated opinion. So Blake Lively really didn't have the movie career that Amber Heard had. And Amber Heard was in a little bit more better position to argue for damages because she was in these big name movies. Number one, Aquaman, and she was associated with Jason Momoa. And then she did Aquaman 2, which also brought on other opportunities for her, which includes brand partnerships and sponsorships and things like that. Fun fact, Amber Heard and Blake Lively both had partnerships with L'Oreal back in 2016. So maybe that's where Blake Lively got her idea for hair care or whatever. But what Blake mostly has been doing in the past, and we can even go back to 2021 to be fair, because that's really where the story looks like it starts for her. In 2021, Blake Lively released Betty Buzz. This was a line of mocktails, so non-alcoholic drinks that you can mix with alcohol to make mixers or just drink on its own. And she named this product after her family. So she couldn't name it Ernie after her dad, which she drew a lot of inspiration from. But her grandmother and her aunt were both named Betty, and her daughter's name was also Betty. So there's that family tie-in with the Betty Buzz. Okay, Betty Booze did not come online until about 2023, I believe, according to my research. So the timeline from 2021 is when they came out, Blake Lively had a partnership with British Airways to have her mocktails available in U.S. lounges. It's kind of ingenious, really. So she got a market right away. But then she needed to expand, of course. And after 2 years, she was able to do that. So in 2023, she expanded further into the U.S. Markets with Yard House Darden, which is a U.S. restaurant investment group. And she partnered with them so that she could have her mocktails served with them. And then this is where I think it gets somewhat padded as far as her sales. And we can take a look at this. So we get to 2024 and she gets a partnership for her mocktails with Princess Cruises. Now this is Betty Buzz. This is not Betty Booze. But she gets it with her, she gets her line of cocktail mixers along with the premium liquor collection. So I think it's like, hey, you have a martini, but then you have this other thing or some sort of mixer, sparkler, whatever alcoholic concoction you can think of. But that also does include Betty Booze 2, which came out in 2023, and it was launched actually in Canada at the time. So now this is where I get to say where she kind of, I think, padded her sales, and this was a perfect opportunity for her, really, if you think about it, because her Betty Buzz line was doing very well, and it was doing very well online as well. And it is said that her Instagram followers and her online presence was a really big part of digital sales. Okay, remember, digital sales. They didn't say store sales, they said digital sales. And Blake Lively does have a website for her Betty Buzz, Betty Booze drink lines. And her mocktail line got really good reviews from what I could see. Like, it's so good, I might go out and try it myself just to see that they're lying. Now, here we come with Ryan Reynolds to the rescue to increase sales and pad her resume a little bit more. From 2024 to 2025, she gets a sponsorship with her husband's soccer team, Wrexham. Is it Wrexham football? Wrexham team, to be part of their training kit. So they're promoting, it's kind of, I don't know how, I guess it's refreshing, new refreshing liquid to have instead of alcohol, because it's still, when you say Betty Buzz, you still get that connotation that, and I get it's mocktail, so you have to play on the name, but yeah. Anyways, so she got a pad, so she's got a partnership now, right? And then come October is when everything comes crashing down. So it's not August where everything comes crashing down. It's actually October with her, mainly with her Betty Buzz and Betty Booze sales. Now let's talk about her hair care line, because she's always talking about this hair care line, right? This hair care line has been in like development for like what? Between 5 to 7 years. Beyonce has a hair care line. Jennifer Aniston has a hair care line, and they both are doing very well from what I read online. Okay, I didn't read any reports of, oh my God, foot traffic is down at Target for the 7th month in a row, or, Blake Lively sales were up for 3 weeks in August of 2024, but came all crashing down suddenly. Question mark, why is that? It's Justin Baldoni's fault because he had bad marketing. Excuse me, I'm going to cough and I don't want to pause and redo this video. So I'm talking from the hip, as always, in my rambling ways. Let's just hope I'm a little bit more organized. So when it came to October, that's when she started seeing the backlash. And actually, she started seeing the backlash in September, where she was interviewed on how she was surprised on the backlash. Now, I didn't dive too deep into that because I was trying to find sales on Target and the ongoing backlash and backstory with Target and not her hair care line. But I did think it was interesting to see that Blake Lively was stating that she was so stunned at all the backlash that she was receiving. And this was an article in September, so they probably talked to her in August. I'm assuming maybe it takes a couple of weeks to put a story together in a printed magazine. I don't know, and I could be definitely wrong, but that's just my opinion and my guess. So her hair care line was actually planned either within 2 days of the movie's premiere, if not 1 day. And I believe that Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively thought that they could continue their trajectory on her success of her brands by cross-promoting it with interviewers. But unfortunately, I think someone called out her hair care line and it said the morning look. It's like a morning look. And I haven't seen a hair care goal for Blake Lively. Like, ooh, I love your hair. What do you have in it? I need that secret. I've never felt that way about Blake's hair. But anyway, her hair care line shot up, then shot down. Now, do I think that she probably partnered with the wrong brand, Target, and that a lot of the backlash can be argued because Target has an ongoing backlash that has been kind of brewing for the last couple of years, but really just exploded at the beginning of 2025 and DEI. Wayfair could have a good argument with like, hey, there's already been this boycott of Target going on. Of course she's going to have sucky hair sales. Look at it. This is September, and we have news reports reporting that foot traffic in Target is down for its 7th month. Okay, if no one's shopping at Target, no one's going to buy her hair care brand. Right? So that's one argument for it. Another argument you can make on why her hair care line did so badly is because her popularity really isn't real. So on Instagram, she has 42, 48, 45. I keep seeing different numbers. I keep remembering different numbers, but it's somewhere in the 40s. However, on Flossom Talk, there was a closer look on the followers, and Ashley Eve, also did a video on the majority of not only Blake Lively's followers, Ryan Reynolds, but also Taylor Swift's followers are also fake. So if you're saying, hey, I'm world famous and so popular, I'm going to sell 20,000 of these because 20,000 people love me, that would make sense. But in Blake's case, she says she has 20,000, but it really looks like maybe she has 1,000. So it's significantly lower. Her actual fan base may be actually lower than her actual Instagram following account. And yes, you can buy bots. Yes, you can buy friends and subscribers and watches and views and all of that stuff. But it's going to look funky, and Bushbirds is probably going to call you out on it. So those are just the main elements that they're probably going to look at, which brings us to the future. Let's just jump 20, 25, 26, and 27. What do those years have in store with Blake Lively? Well, I have a theory. That she agreed to produce and star in the Survival List to use as leverage for damages. Hear me out on this. So, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard is on the stand, and she's like, yeah, my L'Oreal deal is on hold because of what was said on social media and the smear campaign. Right? So what do they say about a hold? They're not paying her. They're not putting her to work. We're just seeing what happens, and if it gets better, then maybe we'll use you. If not, maybe we need to reevaluate things. So, Blake Lively doesn't have the infrastructure for this movie yet. It's only an agreement with Lionsgate. They still need a ton more stuff before anything gets, on the way. And we don't know if she's actually signed a contract yet or not. So if she has, then I guess we can say, hey, she's doing okay, right? She's doing Flossy Pop NYC, where she got paid $200,000 for closing speaker for 30 minutes. So she's still doing pretty good, but 26, 27, she's not. And she can use this as, hey, I have this verbal agreement with Lionsgate on this Survivalist movie, but it's just an agreement. And that's only because the social media is so bad. We don't want another backlash like I received at another Simple Favor, where the movie was just inundated with comments and we had to turn them all off. So that's what they're probably going to argue. As far as amount, I would say maybe they can argue 6 to 10 for movies. And then for her alcohol line, which apparently lost 70%, 80%, some astronomical number like that, we can maybe assume that maybe she was making $5 million. So maybe $15 million. Guesstimate. I mean, if the Betty Buzz was doing really that well, So that is the argument for damages. Let me know what you think. Comment, share. Let me know what else you would love to explore. And I'll see you later. Thanks, house guests. Have a great day.